In Kiki Rice's homecoming game, it ended up being a reason why Lauren Betts is your Naismith and Wooden Award winners. Guaranteed over JUJU Watkins.
You are Locked On UCLA, your daily podcast on the UCLA Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to this edition of the Locked On UCLA podcast. I'm your host, Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer. Thanks for making this show your first listen each and every day. It's free wherever you get your podcast, and it's available on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for your support. And hey, to your team every day. What we're talking about today is the continued dominance of UCLA. The Bruins 20-0. They beat a top 10 team on the road in Maryland in a true road game, adding to their undefeated mark against top 25 teams. Mind you, this is not the same Maryland team that faced SC a few weeks ago, or even at the beginning of the week. They're playing without Bree McDaniel and Cheyenne Sellers. Okay, so this is not the same top 8 Maryland team that could have given UCLA a run for their money if they're fully healthy. The story of this game, though, is the continued dominance of Lauren Betts. It's unmatched how dominant she is. And when you see the headlines of PAIGE BUECKERS, you see JUJU WATKINS, maybe you'll see some of the Notre Dame guards. It's like, okay, who is going to be that superstar? Well, they're going to point towards the guards. Let us not forget, Lauren Betts has transformed UCLA from a Sweet 16 team to a super dominant team, right? The arrival of JUJU and Lauren Betts to the West Coast has shifted the balance of power at the moment of women's college basketball to where those teams are, okay, maybe a tournament team, Sweet 16 team. No, those are the two dominant forces in college basketball on the women's side right now. And Lauren Betts has made her case, not only just to battle for Big Ten Player of the Year, it's the Naismith Player of the Year award. It's the Wooden Award. It's every potential award, and Lauren Betts is proving why she is super dominant. She scored 20-plus points in the first half in this game against Maryland, all right? Even without some of the best players, that's still a really good team on the road in UCLA's third game of a week in less than 7 days, because they had a morning tip here on the East Coast in Maryland in a true road game. All right, that just proves UCLA is doing things at the next level. They won this game at a dominant level. All right, UCLA has been unstoppable. 82-67 this final against Maryland. UCLA just absolutely unbeatable, right? They are going crazy, unbeaten. Lauren Betts, 14 of 15, 33 points, 4 blocks, a steal, 1 personal foul only, and had 7 rebounds with 4 offensive rebounds. So not only is she the definition of efficiency, shooting 93% from the field, she can also earn possessions back for her team if she misses the shot or gets extra opportunities down low. And when teams are trying to score, Lauren Betts in the last few games, I'm looking at her numbers for Betts. If you look at the last few games coming into this game, she had 21 blocks. You had 25. So Lauren Betts is getting close to 6 blocks per game. And prior to the Maryland game, her previous 3 games, she'd averaged 7 blocks a game. All right. That's not the same stuff JUJU's doing. Now, don't get me wrong. JUJU Watkins is fantastic. All right. You could argue about who's the best player and who's the most dominant force in the game. I'm going to say the most dominant force in the game is UCLA getting Lauren Betts and her being the best. And they still have another year of her abilities to use at UCLA. That's why this team is so strong and is capable of making a run. And one of the teams on an extremely short list this year in the top 10 that can make a title run. And UCLA is at the top of that list because Betts changes the game when you're rebounding, changes the game defensively, can get a steal or 2, and is pretty much unstoppable when her footwork's impeccable. And then you give her the ball in her spot in the paint, turns around, can finish with each hand. Sometimes she can add mid-range to that. Unstoppable. And I know JUJU can do a lot of things, scoring, and has a lot of steals. I just think Lauren Betts brings a lot more to the table. This was supposed to be about Kiki Rice. She's back on the East Coast. There's 3 Bruins going back to the East Coast, celebrating their homecoming. And Kiki Rice was like, all right, this is my opportunity to show off in front of what during the broadcast they said when I was watching on Peacock, Kiki was expected 200 people. All right. Kiki, okay, 19 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. All right, 2 turnovers. Solid assist to turnover ratio, an All-American, a star in her own right. Maybe even the leader of this team. You could argue, right, the Shaq and the Kobe's. You could argue the Kiki and the Lauren Betts. Right? You get the guard, you get the super dominant post player. But the player of the year should be Lauren Betts. And this is a game where Kiki played really, really well. Really well. Shot from the free throw line spectacularly because she went 5 of 10 from the floor and shot 9 of 10 from the free throw line. Took care of the ball, forced turnovers, got some rebounds. She played really well. And the story is Lauren Betts just cannot be stopped. Most of these teams in the country cannot stop her. What South Carolina have? Some of the most dominant post players in the country these last few years under Dawn Staley. And when they've had that, mixed with a lot of other talent and one of the best coaches in the country, if not the best at this time, Dawn Staley, they win championships or they lose in the Final Four and they're only lost the year. UCLA has that potent guard. They've got the dominant center, and they have become a super combo that has led UCLA to the next level. 20-0. We can't wait till February 13th. We'll just get there faster, right? Can we just go on a time machine and go quicker? Now, there have been some crazy upsets in Big Ten play, right? Penn State's only win the Big Ten play came to beat Ohio State. Ohio State then beat Maryland. Maryland, when they're fully healthy, is a top 10 team, but they just weren't with no Sellers. And with McDaniel out for the year, they were playing with a very short bench and a short leash for some of those players. So UCLA, in their third game in the road, might have not even been their challenge the most. It was close early, but they pulled away in the second half, in the middle part of the second quarter, after a Maryland run, pulled away, and this game was never truly as close as it was for a portion in the first half where Maryland hit a 3, got a foul, and was getting close to tying things up. You mix in some good days, Lauren. You got London Jones hitting a couple of threes. That makes it 6 threes in their last 2 games combined, all at a 50% clip. And you're still getting production from your bench. You saw Gardner hit a couple of threes from a decent percentage. She had 7 points overall, but they didn't get a lot of production from the bench. Overall, as a team-wide thing, UCLA got 12 points from their bench, a total of 6 turnovers, and only a couple of boards. So not too much production from a 5 that is supposed to help out UCLA's starting 5/6 player when you mix in Barker and Gardner. And outside of that, they weren't getting a lot of production. That's why Lauren Betts is so dominant. She can come in, even against a little undermanned opponent in Maryland, and just turn it on. And if UCLA really wanted her to, I think Betts could have gone for 40. Because on Monday against Baylor, Coach Close was leaving her out there to try and go for that triple-double with the assist and the block. And if she does get those things against Baylor 2 games ago, she's going to get those national headlines that she didn't get and just missed out on. It'll be a dominant stat line that could have been amazing with an assist, with the block, rebound, points, triple-double. That would have been amazing. But 9-9 and super dominance, game in and game out, with such a high clip of finishing the paint. Averaging 0.1 rebounds away from a double-double every game in less than 30 minutes of action defines efficiency that JUJU does it. JUJU's had games of 9 turnovers, 8 turnovers, 8 turnovers. That's 3 games where, doing my math quickly, that's 25 turnovers in a 3-game span. They weren't all back-to-back. Now, USC has been super dominant. They have lost a game to Notre Dame at home. They'll have a very energized crowd when UCLA gets there, but the Bruins are just next level, like absolutely otherworldly. This year, Lauren Betts, 17 steals, has had 54 blocks, 83 offensive rebounds. Half her rebounds have come on the offensive glass, which means while she isn't the assist-to-turnover ratio, you have to give her the ball as a post player, which is why now we've seen less love given by media and fans towards the centers and moving towards the guards because you have to give them the ball. That's when the ball's in the air is almost like the point guard in the paint because she can get your team an extra possession. You might have to give her a touch, but she can earn her touch by getting all those extra rebounds. Practically half her rebounds have come giving UCLA second, third chances, getting fouled, getting to the line, getting their best players in foul trouble, while also completely altering teams' game plans and how to score in the paint. They just can't. Not on a consistent basis when Lauren Betts is in there, in the paint, and she swats shots relentlessly. it's going to come down to how UCLA and SC face off to who wins the Big Ten, who's going to get the 1 seed in the West, who's going to win or one of the easier paths in the West, because I would think UCLA and SC should both be 1 seeds, and who's going to win these big-time awards when BETTS and UCLA faces off against USC and JUJU WATKINS. I think Lauren Betts is even more dominant, one of the most unstoppable dominant forces in all of college basketball right now, and deserves the respect that we kind of forget to give her. We give her an okay, but some of the headlines are going to be stolen by these other teams and other players. And the Bruins, hey, number 1, unbeaten in Big Ten play. Some big-time matches coming up. Still 2 weeks away from our UCLA-USC gauntlet round 1. Until we get there, the Bruins have some tough games. The Big Ten has proven to be much tougher sledding this year than maybe I could have expected, maybe the team could have expected. If you don't even include the travel, we're just talking about team's talent overall. But after a long swing east, UCLA gets a nice stint on the West Coast. They have a much easier schedule in terms of navigating conference travel this year. They don't have to go east 3 times after mid-January like the men do. So I think that settles in nicely for Corey Close and her team to come back after a strong win against Baylor, pretty easy. Then you go beat Rutgers, and I think Rutgers just came back to beat Penn State in a strong win on the road. And then you mix in another 2 top 25 wins on an East Coast swing, neutral site and true road games with 14,000 fans at some of those in the inaugural Coretta Scott King Classic. That is fantastic for what UCLA could do. And there's still many pieces who have yet to make their mark. Some of these unheralded options, like maybe Hawkins deserves more love. Dugalich is going to have her moment. Gardner and London Jones, their shooting are all going to make significant contributions, or that might be the reason why UCLA may lose a game or two when they play USC. Those players will get their time to shine. But right now, got to give all the love to Lauren Betts, who deserves every accolade possible. All right. And the Bruins, for what it's worth, beat Maryland. Not the same as if they're healthy, unfortunately, but they're going to miss McDaniel for the rest of the season with the ACL. And I wonder how long Sellers is out. She did not play after getting injured in that same Monday Coretta Scott King Classic game where they played Texas after the UCLA Baylor game. So they weren't the same team. Doesn't make it any less impressive that UCLA can go all the way across the country and beat 3 teams, all by double figures, away from home, extended travel, with whatever you consider the studying to be for any of these student athletes. They do all that, and they're just dominating. And their best player continues to put up buckets, including a 20-piece in the first half. If she really wanted, could have put up 40 and maybe 15 and 20. Crazy, huh? Absolutely nuts. Super Bowl 59 is here. 1 game, 2 teams, endless possibilities when you got the Chiefs and the Eagles in it. There's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook. Whether you want to predict the first touchdown, calling the MVP, even betting on the coin toss, FanDuel makes it easy to get in on the action. Live betting all game long. You can adjust your bets as the game unfolds and feel the thrill from kickoff to the final whistle. You can have a live betting feature that keep you involved with no matter what happens. And hey, if you place a $5 bet, you could potentially win $200 in bonus bets for the Super Bowl. That's icing on the cake. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Bet just $5, and if you win, you'll score $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Bet with FanDuel, official partner of Super Bowl 59. All right, that's going to do it with us here in Locked On UCLA today. We're going to talk more UCLA football recruiting. A key decommit from Florida State could help UCLA's future recruiting at a certain position. And offers, crystal balls, Deshaun Foster is continuing to build this program, even while we're not talking about the transfer portal or the high school recruiting in 2025. They are putting down the roots, the seeds to grow for the future. We'll talk about that next on Locked On UCLA. And it's Beat SC week or day coming up soon. All those exciting moments on Locked On UCLA in the future episodes to come. Hands up, Bruins fans. 8 clap time, baby. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. UCLA. UCLA. Fight, fight, fight. This has been Locked On UCLA. Zach signing off. Go Bruins.